Okay, how's everybody doing? Thumbs up for the people that have their cameras on. We're all doing good, having a good day. There we go. Yeah, look at that. So this is our presentation, and we researched and are going to present on the future of work in the era of AI. So what is AI? So research for AI began in the early 1950s for the US Department of Defense and has evolved since. It's evolved quite greatly. Obviously, we started out doing different things for AI and gathering intelligence, trying to gather intelligence for different countries through our different forms of databases. And obviously has evolved very greatly from that to becoming a household thing. AI is now accessible in our homes. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It is the act of putting human-like intelligence into a machine or a computer to perform different tasks. And currently, this industry is divided into two subfields. We have robotics and machine learning. And those are typically the types of jobs that you would go into if you do perform AI or if you are involved with AI. Some modern day examples of AI are the Google Duplex. Um, then you have so anything like that's an assistant. So Siri is like one of your assistants. Siri is a personal assistant, one form of AI. And then you also have cars that are self-driving, and that is another form of AI. Does anybody else have any other ideas of modern day examples of artificial intelligence that they can think of off the top of their heads?
Alexa.
Yeah, Alexa is a good example. Echo is a good example. So anything like that where you can literally talk to it and it has to develop some sort of answer because it is using that human intelligence to gather information for you and present it in a different way or make processes a little easier for you. So I thought this quote was cool. This is one of the articles we looked at. It says 72% of business leaders say AI will bring a business advantage. And in 2021, AI augmentation will generate 2.9 trillion in business value and recover about 6.2 billion hours of worker productivity. So this was an article about the future of jobs in the era of AI. And that's kind of what this whole like research thing was about. Which is interesting because while it does make businesses very, very efficient, and it does speed up processes, you have different availabilities that you can have with this. You can decrease workers and just have a robot do it instead. But the only downside with this, and I was talking to my friend about this morning, I was very excited about this topic. The only downside with this is it does create, a different set of jobs that do require more cognitive thinkers. So you can't just have minimum wage workers in a factory still being able to work in that factory. Instead, you have different AI processes helping out with that. And the only jobs it's creating are cognitive based ones. So ones that would require a thicker education level and would require people to actually go into thinking more rather than just doing manual labor, which is great. It makes our society smarter, but we do have the need for having manual labor jobs for people who didn't go through that education. Companies that use AI throughout business processes. Alibaba, I'll just read a few of these. So Alibaba is one. It's a super big company in China, and they can predict what customers buy using AI. So that obviously helps them without their operation. They don't have to wait for customers to decide what they want to buy. They kind of already know, and it's already programmed. So that helps them gather inventory information, that helps them gather customer prediction information, that helps them gather where they think the revenue is going to go with all of that. Then you have number two is Alphabet with Google. And they use self-driving vehicles using DeepMind, which is a form of AI. And DeepMind is that human intelligence within the computer. So that computer is what it'll tell you like what's going on around your vehicle. It tells you the directions of everything. So it is making life a lot easier, and it is making different business processes easier. It's just a matter of the fact, is it super beneficial to us, or is it something that's going to take jobs and take over human capital? And then the third one, Amazon, is actually the company we chose for our case. And that's the one we analyzed how their AI process works throughout their company.
So, Hi everyone. I'm Kunj, and I'm gonna be talking about the AI tech at Amazon.com. So, I personally have a little bit of experience since I worked there a couple of summers back, and everything I saw, everything I learned there was a really good opportunity for me to represent what I saw in this project we're doing. So Amazon uses this AI management strategy. It's called the flywheel. It's actually taken from a tool um, which is used for more sustainable energy that goes on constantly without having to turn on or off the equipment. And so that is something that we notice in a lot of warehouses. They're running 24/7. They have different shifts throughout the thing. And all these warehouses are using so many forms of AI, such as the Kiva robots for all the picking stuff. And so, one more interesting fact is that Amazon was one of the first to use the technology to drive its product recommendations. So, they were one of the first ones who actually got this technology, where how we see today that if I'm buying a new laptop, it will just recommend me a charger right next to it and a good case just to make a whole bundle of it. So all this are just certain examples of how the retail side of Amazon is utilizing the AI technology. AI is basically omnipresent in all of Amazon's locations, unlike some other companies where AI is only prevalent in some sectors like accounting or finance or marketing. Amazon is a company where they are involving AI in their locations by like having warehouse robots, um, their new stores, Amazon Go stores, which are using AI for faster checkouts. The products that they're selling, like Amazon Echo and Amazon Fire TV, they're all using AI for using automated voice commands to give them the best output they can. And some of the personalized recommendations at like some of the online services we've been using throughout quarantine, like Amazon.com for shopping or Prime Video to look up a movie. All kind of recommendations that we get through these streaming services and other online services are also influenced heavily by this AI technology. Here's a video of the store that I was talking about. I saw this video and I was just amazed at how this technology works. I hope you guys like it.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
As we can see, this video was a bit older and it is still so fascinating that I haven't personally been in one of those stores and I would love to actually check it out. I hope you guys think the same way.
So hi, I'm Erin, and I'm going to be presenting on the quality of the QPIC for Amazon. So Amazon actually has multiple instances of AI that they use throughout their services. They use AI for their chatbots, which do customer service on their website. They can offer recommendations based on what customers have bought in the past. They can use it to forecast demands, and they also use it for fraud prevention. They've been using it for years, and they have been perfecting it over those years. So now Amazon Web Services, they actually offer their services that other businesses can buy and integrate into their businesses to help improve them. And the quality can help to improve old processes as well as to create new ones. So I think a process that they kind of created was the voice shopping through Alexa. So basically, you can say, Alexa, order like hand sanitizer, and you can get it delivered to your house without even having to like go on the internet or anything. And it can make workers' jobs easier and also create new jobs. So they need new jobs to create the code, to manage the machines, and to improve all of these AI services. The process. So I want to talk about the Amazon warehouse robots that we mentioned before. There's a picture of them in the bottom right corner because they were describing it on the website, I couldn't really wrap my head around what they looked like. But basically, the robots, they still have workers in the warehouses with the robots, but they just stack the products onto these robots, and the robots can take them throughout the factory. So it saves the workers a lot of walking because some Amazon workers were walking up to 10 miles a day, which can be really hard on your body, especially if you're not used to walking that much. They also use the automated chatbots, and these can provide speedy customer service, increase productivity, automate simple tasks, and improve efficiency. I've actually used them before. I was trying to make a return, and I just went to the chatbot, and it actually worked really well. Like, it processed the return, told me where to bring my item, and it was really simple. So I think they did really good with that. And then, as we mentioned before, they also have the cashierless stores. Right now, they're in limited locations. I was looking around; they only have like a few in each state, so they're not as widespread, I guess, as they might be in the future.
Were you saying something? I think your mic might be muted.
Mine?
Kunj?
Oh, no, you can go ahead, start. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Bikes to miles of conveyor belts, there's a lot of ways to get around this massive 1.2 million square foot fulfillment center in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the size of 28 football fields. Over 15 million items are stocked in this facility every day, and the endless rows of jumbled consumer goods looks like there's no method to this mind-blowing madness. But Amazon spokesperson Ashley Robinson told me that's definitely not the case.
That process is called random stow, and what will happen is the associates will look for places that that particular item will fit into a bin, and it doesn't necessarily have to be next to the same item. We prefer it to be very random.
You got that right. I found this power juicer stored next to some Dial soap, followed by this huge tub of Big League bubblegum. With over 2,000 full-time employees at this facility, online shoppers who click buy immediately alert handheld technology scanners that tells associates where to retrieve the product and then uses an algorithm to send employees to the most optimal next item to be picked. But if you think that's impressive, Amazon's busiest employees are actually their Kiva robots.
Their strength is equivalent with an NFL linebacker. They weigh 300 pounds, and they can lift up to 750 pounds. In a fulfillment center where we handle larger items, those particular robots can lift up to 3,000 pounds.
Now the products travel in these yellow boxes called totes through 8 miles of sky-high conveyor belts until they reach another incredible technology called the SLAM line, which stands for shipping.
So I was just going to skip over just a little bit of that last part. That way we don't have to keep you guys too long after class. Be mindful of your time. But yeah, obviously that video showcases how Amazon uses AI and artificial intelligence and technology all throughout their operations processes. And it really does make everything a lot more efficient, and things run a lot more smoothly with them in the company.
So let's talk about the capacity now. Amazon actually operates more than 175 fulfillment centers all around the world, and this includes majorly located locations like North America, Europe. They just recently had more fulfillment centers in the Asian sector, like in India, some of them in Vietnam. An average Amazon warehouse has the capacity to hold up to 400,000 to a million square feet of inventory. Amazon uses the aggressive strategy for forecasting, which implies that they always are ahead of the demand. They always try to order more compared to some other uh, companies that use the conservative strategy. Like they want to see how the product is doing before they actually order more products for inventory. And due to the recent pandemic, Amazon is actually prioritizing all the capacity over speed, as it told all their independent sellers that they have a limited capacity of products during the inventory. I mean, I think I have the incomplete sentence. This means during the holiday season. That means the products which are not prevalent, which won't be selling a lot during the inventory during holidays, won't be prioritized compared to the other products such as Christmas decorations and stuff like that. So that's how they're managing the capacity situation.
So Amazon already integrates a lot of AI into its processes, but they plan to make it even more widespread throughout their business. The future could be fully automated warehouses where they have even less workers and most of the work is done by the robots. The cashierless Amazon stores may also soon be available more widespread. So I think in New Jersey, there's only 1 or 2 locations with the Amazon Go stores, but in the future, that could be different and they could be like where every ShopRite or Stop and Shop is. This will also create more jobs in creating code for AI. So they're going to need more people to manage the robots, to train the workers how to use the robots to create the code, and how to just overall manage the AI at Amazon. And then another thing that I saw they were really trying to make more popular was the voice shopping with Alexa. I don't know who has an Alexa in this class. We have one in my house, but we don't really use the voice shopping just because it's kind of like a new idea. And if we need to order something, we're more likely to just go on our phones and order it like that rather than asking Alexa to go and buy it. But they're trying to push that more. So maybe they'll make improvements to that system to make it a little more widespread.
So, because we're short on time, we were going to divide you guys up into breakout rooms and have you talk about this for like 5 minutes and then come back. But we are very short on time. So, we'll just do discussion topic 1. So, what are the pros and cons of AI? And if we could just have 2 pros and then 2 cons, and we'll talk about those. So, anybody feel free to answer 2 pros or 2 cons, or a pro and a con.
Well, considering the online shopping thing with the Alexa, I know there's like little kids that go up to it and they're like, "Oh, Alexa, I want blah blah blah," and then if their parents have a credit card connected to it, it'll just order it. So that's a con. But the pro is that I think it should have like a voice recognition. So if the parent does it, it would make more sense. Then that would be a pro. But the con is that little kids could literally go on and say, "Hey, Alexa, I want whatever," and then they go on and get it.
So definitely, I guess like one of the cons you're saying would be like they need to develop it a little further for it to be a little more accurate and
That is actually
proof.
Yeah.
I have one of my cousins who's 4 year old and he doesn't know how to read or write, but he knows how to talk. So he'll just use that voice recognition system on his remote and be YouTube. I want to see Baby Shark or whatever, and it's just so mesmerizing that a 4 year old or even a 3 year old can do that today just because of AI.
Yeah.
And there's actually an article, and it said that you can use Alexa to like turn your lights on. So when people would say, "Turn your lights on," Alexa thought they were saying turkey tenderloins. So a few people, like there was enough to make it a problem, were ordering turkey tenderloins instead of turning their lights on with their Alexa.
Yeah, there's definitely different pros and cons of like the products themselves. And then also like implementing AI into businesses and business processes as a whole. And we have those pros and cons on the next slide. So we'll do those in just a second. The second discussion topic was how do you see AI being implemented in the following types of businesses? We did kind of cover Amazon warehouse and factory. But I kind of wanted to skip to Rowan University and academia. Like, how can you see AI being implemented even in the academia world?
There should be a scanner on the top of the door for attendance. So when students walk in the classroom, it automatically senses their attendance.
That's really cool. Anybody else have any other ideas? It's okay if you don't. Okay. So the AI pros, Aaron, did you want to do these?
I'll let you do it. So the pros of AI is, as we know, it increases productivity. There's more machine learning that more and more companies are utilizing every day. There's faster and effective decision making, which avoids the emotional decision making that is involved with humans. So that also concludes my next point, which is eradicating human error. Also, AI does not take any days off, which we know that's why it's available 24/7. It's also quite flexible, and you can reprogram it to do a certain various number of tasks. And since it's handling so much data at a single time, like I've actually read that Amazon actually sells 4,000 items in a single minute. I mean, 4,000 items per minute. So handling all that data, processing it, then there's returns, refunds. There's some gift products. So there's so much decreased latency in that sector. And also, this AI is energy efficient. It's using a lot of green energy. So that are some of the pros. Now I think Aaron will talk about the cons.
So obviously AI can do a lot of good for businesses, but you have to look at both sides of the story. There are a few cons to AI. So right now there's actually a huge lack of diversity in the AI field. It's a predominantly white and male ruled field. So this can cause problems. So one of Amazon's own tools is Amazon Recognition. And basically you can submit a picture of an item, a person, and it can give you a description of the picture that you're seeing, which is really useful for people who are hard of hearing or deaf. And in the beginning, this system actually was failing to recognize users with darker skin tones. And there have been instances of chatbots using hate speech, I guess, throughout whatever their system. So that had to be dealt with as well. So definitely there is a lack of diversity, which can cause a lot of problems. And the Amazon warehouse robots make employees work at a quicker rate, which at first sounds like a good thing, increases productivity. But warehouses with the highest number of injuries are the ones with robots. This is because as people are climbing up on the robots, put the items, since they're going so quick, it can tend to cause more injuries to your body and also over a long time. AI is also currently expensive and inaccessible to many. So obviously big businesses like Amazon, they have the advantage with AI since they have more income to spend on it. And this could put smaller businesses out of business, which isn't the best thing for other businesses. Employers will have to train employees. So there's a survey and they asked if businesses were ready for the transition to AI. And a lot of employers answered no. And the follow-up question was, have you been training your employees for what would happen if you did integrate AI into your systems? And they also said no. So that's something that employers would have to think about adopting into their workplace. And with AI, obviously it's a robot, and there is a lack of empathy, human emotion, and creativity. Now, it's up to debate whether it's ever possible to truly give AI a human empathy and emotions and creativity. We don't know what the future brings, but right now it's not really possible. And then there's also the unemployment factor, where it would be taking away jobs from people who haven't gone through extensive training to be able to code or train machines.
So the recommendation that we came up with, because there are pros and cons to AI, we said we recommend that Amazon continue to developing their AI to make both business processes and customer experience more efficient and enjoyable. However, we also recommend that they still maintain a human capital at their warehouses in order to provide jobs for people. Just because if you are completely getting rid of your human capital and replacing manufacturing jobs with sole like AI positions, you are kind of lining the pockets of the rich and lining the pockets of big businesses, and you are creating more of a social gap between social classes. So the richer become richer and the poor become poorer. So it's definitely important to make sure that those jobs are still being implemented on lower levels. We also recommend that businesses want to incorporate AI into their operations, create a training program to teach their employees how to manage and use the AI that they wish to implement. So if you are integrating AI into your company, which it's definitely looking that way, if you look at every graph of human growth that has ever been made, towards the tail end, we skyrocket, especially recently. And we are going to increase and exponentially increase because AI is moving at such a fast rate. Even like Elon Musk thinks that AI is moving at a faster rate than we're ready to handle. So definitely training your employees before it's fully implemented is key to managing AI.
So as we've seen, AI is definitely going to be the next big wave in technology to change our world. And it's already started to pop up in a lot of businesses, and it's already begun to take place in our life. Like, I'm sure most of the people in this class have an Alexa in their house or order off Amazon regularly. and it can do a lot of businesses, but we have to keep in mind that we are the ones who are in control of AI and how it impacts our businesses and not the other way around. Basically saying we can't let AI take over our lives so much that it gets out of hand. And that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions or comments?